Alright guys, just wanted to let you know who the Raiders starting quarterback is going to be next year. But other than that, guys, we obviously had a big Bears and Packers game go down, the Chiefs. And yeah, some other teams saw their playoff hopes dwindle a lot. And we'll have a lot of takeaways for that. But again, let's get this play of the day going.
Over this offense, but we're seeing a lot of the same things.
Oh shit, not good.
Shaheed, big special teams play, breaking free, and Shaheed all the way to the house, no flags. Just happened.
And everyone here is just running. He just kind of shot puts it, and he just can't secure the tackle.
Oh, here they come up the middle. He got away from one. He got away from there. Here he goes. Touchdown! Get up, you haven't been touched.
ETN to the ETN zone.
What?
They are out-colting the Colts. Not even sure that's a word. It isn't.
He lost the ball.
Looking, dancing, looking, throws, incomplete at the goal line. He tried to get it to Andrews, and the Steelers defense makes the play. 7 seconds are running after him, and they get to him. They end the game with a sack. Highsmith ends it.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine.
I got this. Hutchins on the direct snap. He was supposed to pitch it, but didn't and couldn't. And now he's going to have to throw it, and he does, and it's incomplete.
I'm watching it go. I love people around. Baby, please come home. The church bells are down. All ringing the door. What a happy sound. Baby, please come home.
And Carlson's kick is good with no time left.
Get our graphics back on the screen here quickly. 1st and 10, and a lot more. Level, he breaks free. H.N. to a fakes, to a hit on the release, and they're going to make a touchdown nonetheless. Waddle with the catch.
We asked for it.
1st and 10 as they play from the 13 pitch play. H.N. Boy, the lethality in his legs.
Football team.
It's a big 34 here for the Jets. Deflected in the air. Was there picked? Let's see how the officials ruled. Handoff here. In. It's right. Williams. Back. And Williams is in. From Indianapolis. 3rd and 13 down to 35 seconds. Cook towards the end zone. And it is picked. It's Douglas.
Goals are still in front of you. Don't be frustrated.
Jets are going fake here. This is Malachi
Emotional today, climbing to those backers.
There's a play here from Gordon, that push, and he's in.
Teams continuing to have just a tremendous season.
Cook, little fade pitch, and that is picked.
With that, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to the Funville. Please like and subscribe. I hope you guys did enjoy that pretty fun day of football as we saw a lot of things go down. Also, fun day of football. Again, this is probably coming out later than it should be for this, but we do have that going on, I guess, on Monday Night Football. If you're watching this when this does come out, of course, we have our Sunday recap. I'll give you guys all my takeaways from all these games. First one is you guys just saw the highlights from me, the Dolphins and the Jets. But again, we'll get to the Raiders game at some point. Obviously, the only thing you guys cared about from that game was that line, which obviously hit. So again, if you made that bet, made a little bit of money. But anyway, for this one, you did just see the Dolphins go to 6-7 with their 4th consecutive win. They have now won, 5 out of their last. It's been a minute now I think about the math. They've won 5 out of their last 6 games. They're looking pretty damn good right now. At the same time, they've been playing bad teams, so I guess that's what you have. But again, you look at this Dolphins team. Their goal for this team was going into Week 15, having a meaningful game against the Steelers on Monday Night Football, and that's what they do have. Obviously, a lot more important for the Steelers, considering they are here in the division, and I mean the Dolphins. under 1% chance to make it, so that's awesome. But this is again according to Next Gen Stats, which don't have the greatest playoff percentages, but they're still mostly good. But as you guys can see, the Jets fell to 3-10. He's now their 6th consecutive season with 10 or more losses. They will be hoping to not get blown out next week in Duval County. Dolphins, like I said, are going to Pittsburgh for that Monday nighter. This game essentially came down to the fact that, again, the Jets had their 3rd-string quarterback in, and we'll get to that in a little bit. But, again, I don't think it was like, again, the score was a little bit skewed because it wasn't like the Dolphins really, I mean, they did, but it wasn't this bad. For the Dolphins, though, biggest things I have on them, again, this is just a random stat I found yesterday. Tua's undefeated at home in November. I just didn't know that. Again, it's December, but... yeah. Also, more importantly here, Tua, in under 46-degree weather, has never won a game. That changed in this one. He actually won the start. I mean, it was because of the running game. Yeah, probably, but hey, he got it done. Again, coupled with the Atlanta game, we're looking back to, again, the Dolphins 34-10 win in Atlanta. This is probably their best defensive performance of the year. Again, I understand they weren't going against the greatest offense, but they did a very, very good job in this game shutting down whatever the Jets offense has. Tua made very little mistakes. Yes, this was a very good game from him. The sack he took was smart. He had a very decent game. Game manager did what he was supposed to. I understand everyone's moaning about his passing yards, but at this point, they're winning games. Who really cares? Again, there's going to be games, especially coming up next couple weeks. Pittsburgh. Foxborough. Anyway, those 2 games he's going to have to do something in. Also, Jalen Wright filled in nicely, even if he had some garbage time reps. Again, the reason I say that is because I don't think, again, the yards per carry definitely is better than this, but again, 24 carries, 170 yards to 1 touchdown. He got his job done again, move the game along. Achane should be fine, but the O-line proved how good they can be. I understand, again, the Jets D-line isn't exactly the most vaunting, but this D-line, not D-line, I guess they did too. The offensive line dominated, guys. That's how this team's going to win games. Obviously, though, talk about Tua, he's going to have to step up at some point too. Also, Waddle touchdown early was set up by a shifted zone. Stop Achane from expanding outside. Yeah, that's basically the Jets tried to do the entire game. I mean, Devontae Achane, before he got injured, had like 4 carries on outside carries, and he obviously dominated them. So the fact, again, they went back to that and tried to counter that is why Jalen Waddle was open, even though it was a very good run blitz by the Jets, where, again, Tua, free man on Tua there, and I don't think Tua had any idea, which is a little bit scary and probably will mean he'll get concussed at some point. But anyway, back on this. Defensive line won consistently, especially Zach Sealer. He had a monster game, 2.5 sacks, 4 tackles, 5 pressures. We're passive-aggressive with drastic, commitments and leverage as well. The reason I say that is because this defensive line thrives on being able to guess right off the line, and that's kind of how they blow up run plays. A guy like Jordan Brooks at the second level isn't a guy that you want to completely put in the open field and having to make these open field tackles. So the fact that a guy like Tyrell Dotson, who, again, I understand is a linebacker at the same point, he's able to stay at that first level and, again, kind of hold off guys, so a guy like Jordan Brooks can make those tackles is huge. Obviously, Tyrell Dotson is definitely better in the open field, but you want him more as a cover guy off of his, again, gap control duties. Willie Gay, though, he was very good as well. Obviously, former Chief there. Minka, what do I have on him? Secondary dominated on third. Like the physical play for Minka early. That's what it was. There we go. Again, something on film resonated with me with him. Anyway, though, Dolphins big time win for them. For the Jets, anything I have on them? Double-digit loss for the season. I already talked about that. You know the season is gone if Brady Cook is playing. Brady Cook, at one point in his career, was looking the worst quarterback in the SEC. Obviously, had a very strong 2023. 2024 was disappointing. Comes here to the Jets as their 13th quarterback, and, he didn't have the greatest game. But honestly, it wasn't completely on him. He read out the defenses pretty well. What do I have? Oh, yeah. Olu Fashanu and Membo didn't, they did not adjust the counters. I think that's partly the fact that they're young and they're raw, not raw. They're not playing great right now. That was partly on the offensive line coach. They're definitely have to work on that week. Breece again couldn't get to the second level. When he does not get to the second level, he is not a successful running back. I think we've come to that conclusion at this point in the season. Donnie Mitchell got open, but that's about it. Again, he had 6 targets. He didn't really do much with that, but he did get open. I'll tell you that. Sherwood and Williams were really bad in coverage. Yeah, they really were. Jamin Sherwood was literally just out there to make tackles, and even then he wasn't making them consistently. Quincy Williams had one of his worst games of the season, but he did have a sack and was making plays here and there. Quarterbacks have to react to hard sells and not give up easy separation, especially to wide receivers can't win deep. Yeah, these Dolphins receivers really weren't going to challenge them deep at all in this game. So the fact, again, these Jets cornerbacks, especially a guy like Isaiah Thomas, a rookie, were still getting up those yards underneath is a little bit annoying. I'd rather have you get commit and get burned on those plays than, again, especially against an offense that you're not going to get burned by, then, again, just letting them get those yardage. That's what I have on that. 12 on third down. Again, they also got nothing in the red zone in this game. That's part of the reason they didn't score more than 10 points. But nonetheless, Jets get dominated as we expected. Dolphins complete the season sweep. And now let's get to our next game, which was a very significant one in terms of one injury.
JB, major showdown in the AFC South today at Everbank. The winner will take over sole possession of first place in the division. It's been a tremendous turnaround for Jones. And it's intercepted by Lloyd. Lloyd trying to cut it. Second and goal. Handoff. ETN slicing through. Touchdown. Jaguars. Handoff. Taylor. They try to push him in. Second effort. He's there. Touchdown. Colts. Lawrence going to take a shot downfield, and it's hauled in. What a grab by Thomas. 2.5 to go in the first. Lawrence looking end zone. Wide open. Touchdown. Jacoby Myers. Penn State standout and versatile weapon. Taylor trying to extend the ball, and he loses it. Package on a 3rd and 8. Leonard steps up. Leonard waits to the last moment and gets it to Pierce for a big gain. To the rookie Leonard. Give it to him. He's stonewalled. 15 seconds on the clock. Lawrence in the pocket. Cannot take a sack. Lawrence throws. Touchdown. Penalty marker down. 2nd and 7 for Leonard. Wow. And that's 50-50. Wildcat ETN trying to get there. Leans forward. Because of a clock situation for the Texans not having enough time. Leonard just gets rid of it. Leonard steps up, and Leonard's going to run for the score. Touchdown.
In a battle for first place in the AFC South, where many people were not in their A game, especially Ian Eagle. I don't know what he was yapping about in that one. But a lot more that happened than just this, again, first place bout, as the Colts lost quarterback Daniel Jones to a torn Achilles. He's out the rest of the season. This is obviously a team not in a good spot now, as they are without their first-round pick for the next 2 seasons and are going to be without a playoff spot, if I had to guess, by the end of the year. We'll talk about some other things with them, but again, this team at the moment is on has lost 4 of their last 5, currently on a 3-game losing streak, and with the stretch they have coming up, especially next week in Seattle, it is looking rough for this team to make the playoffs. Jags, again, after a 7-1 start. Jags are 9-4. They've found themselves on a 4-game winning streak. It is their best record through 13 games since 2017. That year they went to the AFC Championship. Again, that year they did lose their last 2 games, so I'm not going to go crazy on that, but they have a very good shot next week to get to 10-4. As they will be hosting the Jets in what will be a game that could put them 2 games up in the division potentially. They're already a game up, and they have, I think they have the tiebreaker on the Texans, right? Maybe, if I'm not mistaken. We'll see about that. But as you guys can see, the Jags find themselves in the 3rd seed. I think it'll be really hard for them to find themselves atop this conference at any point this season. We'll see if that ends up happening. They very easily should be able to get this 3 seed if they take care of business here. Texans, though, they're right on their tails, even though they've already completed their season series and realistically should have swept them and already should be very heavily favored for this division. Nonetheless, for the Colts, they find themselves out of the playoffs right now, even though that's actually insane. We'll talk about the Bears in a while, actually, but this is probably where they're going to be the rest of the season if I had to guess. Again, right there. But anyway, as you know, Daniel Jones tore his Achilles. Again, he had a bad pick to start the game, but that really doesn't matter because, Daniel Jones out of the season tore his Achilles. He probably, I'm going to guess, he probably won't play for most of next season, similar to that Kyler Murray situation back in 2022 with the Cardinals. That Cardinals team was nowhere near as good as this Colts team, but you get the point. So it's sort of similar in terms of the injury. Not like the actual exact injury, but like the timeline for that. Riley Leonard came in and he threw the ball. He didn't play well, but I mean, he didn't completely cook this offense, so I mean, at least there's something there. I would like to see Big Tony out there to maybe get traded or something. Who really knows, guys? This offense is just not in a good spot. They haven't scored over 20. They've barely been able to score 20 the past couple weeks, and the fact that, again, they're without Daniel Jones now is really bad. He was already playing on a fractured fibula. Again, we look at these Achilles injuries, 90% of them are because there's something else compromised, whether we know it or not. Again, the real, really bad ones are the ones where obviously they're healthy and it happens. It's really hard to do that. So, again, the fact that, again, Daniel Jones is already injured, again, it was definitely a risk he was taking. We saw that with Tyrese Halliburton in the NBA Finals last year, Dame Lillard in that close playoffs, talking about NBA there. Now let's get back on topic for this Colts. Takeaways I have for them, other than obviously the main ones. I did make an overreaction, kind of like just throwing it out in the air last week that they would pretty reasonable. Again, we talked about them not being in the playoffs, competing for. I think that is a chance they'll be eliminated by then. I hope. I mean, it looks like it. We'll see. Crazier things have happened though. Jonathan Taylor obviously continues on the struggle bus. Alec Pierce was very good in this game. Michael Pittman, I liked how he bodied up guys, but realistically, guys on offense, Tyler Warren had a rough day in terms of blocking. Really, it made it hard for him to get open as well. Considering again they didn't really have many situations for him. Offensive line wasn't playing well either. Defensively though, this is where this team definitely disappointed. disappointed. I don't think they played a bad game by any means in terms of their overall play, because there were really only a couple drives where they make some crucial mistakes. But again, they're playmakers. They have four honestly significantly talented guys in the secondary, that being Kenny Moore, Cam Bynum, Nick Cross, and then obviously Sauce Gardner, who didn't even play in this game. But those three guys, they've been playing on the team this entire season. They just did not show up in this game. They were not making the plays they needed to. They needed those guys to kind of carry this team at defense, and it just didn't happen because the pass rush was not getting home. Jalen Jones was really having a hard time keeping up with Brian Thomas in this game. Charvarius Ward obviously wasn't very good either. The secondary just really had a tough time getting things going. And that linebacker, they were overstressed and on top of just a pass rush. I mean, Lato, I think, had 4 pressures, but other than that, they really weren't winning consistently up front. I think I'm just going to throw the rest of these away. Let me think. Yeah, Josh Downs needs to get more routes in the intermediate part of the field. Too many times the middle part of the field wasn't threatened horizontally. That is true, because that is something that they haven't really been able to do this season. And again, until that changes, I don't see this Colts offense will be any good this season. Also, 3 turnovers, reminding me of that 2023 game where they lost in blowout fashion when they had 4 with Gardner Minshew. I just wanted to mention that. But that's what I'll have in the Colts, guys. Yardage-wise, they weren't too bad, but at the same time, like, again, it's kind of hard to win a game when you lose your starting quarterback in a place. Again, they haven't won in Jacksonville. Again, crazy I haven't mentioned this. They haven't won in Jacksonville since 2014. It's actually insane. For the Jags, though, there's a lot of good things that happened. It's their 5 straight wins. Again, 2023 they did it when they started 1-2, went 6-2, and then they when they made the playoffs back in 2022, they were 22, yeah, all that. They went 9-8 there. But other than that, Trevor Lawrence was sharp, yeah, all that crap. He had another good week. I'm not gonna overblow it. This Colts defense did not show up for most of this game. Travis Etienne was fun to watch, though. Brian Thomas had his best game in a while. Tim Patrick, best game I've seen from him in years, and I mean years. Obviously those 2 injuries in 2022 and 2022 and 2023. There we go. Myers, again, he was out there. Defensively, they were just all over the place. They were tenacious. I mean, Josh Allen's ate up. This was a very good defensive performance. Obviously, Greg Newsome had a big-time game as well, as he gets even better with this team. 30 total yards of offense, though, to the tune of Daniel Jones, torn Achilles, got them this W for first place in the division, and I would not be surprised if this team is sitting at pretty atop the AFC South by the end of the season.
Good afternoon from Tampa, where it's 75 degrees with rain in the forecast for the New Orleans Saints and the first place Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Bailey on the move, and that is a run by the rookie Devin Neal, and they haven't seen. Here comes Young. There goes the pass to Irving. He's got blockers ahead. Feeney is there. The 5 touchdown. Bucky Irving. The pitch. Read well. Oh, what a play, Granderson. He read that and blew it up. Terrific defensive play in NFL history. 48 yards right here to try to take the lead, and it is Neal the back, shot to the air, going. And the call for drill down the play, and he was stopped again. Shock is under center. Neal, Hill a block, onto his own blocker, and down he goes. It's Mayfield. Oh, it's intercepted on the play by Taylor. He's getting blocking, and down goes Smith. It's 1st and 10. Here goes Shuck on the move. A gallop. He can see it being chased. He's in for the touchdown. Ins 1st and goal. Tucker the call. Dives. Touchdown. And the Buccaneers have reclaimed the lead. 4th and 3. Mayfield. Here they come up the middle. Dodging. Driving. Breaking. Throwing. It was caught. No, out of bounds. Got an interception and a touchdown. Irving gets the call with a great cut. Got a block in there. Shepard. He's off to the races. Stiff arms his way into Houghton. Mayfield to the end. Check room with a block. Low. Did Houghton bring it in?
He's got to get to the 30, even if he caught it.
What's with these Saints knocking off higher seeded teams in their division on the road? I mean, you look back to the Panthers back in Week 10, where the Panthers' offense did absolutely nothing against the Saints, and they won 17-7 there. Now here they come to Tampa and upset the Bucs 24-20, holding them out of the end zone. My bad. In the 4th quarter, that defense really stepped up as they moved to 3-10. They have now had more wins with Tyler Shuck in 5 games, I think, if I'm doing the math right, than they had with 4 games. Than they had with Spencer Rattler in the first 9 games of the season. Meanwhile, for the Bucs, they have now lost. What are they, 5-1? 5 out of their last 7 games. It's not looking great. Are they even leading the division? No, they still are because they have a tiebreaker over the Panthers. But them and the Panthers, guys, they will be that'll be an interesting matchup. They played 2 out of the last 3 weeks. Next week for the Bucks, they have a very winnable game against who are they playing? The Falcons on a short week there. Saints, meanwhile, will be playing the. Who are the Saints playing next week? They got the Panthers. All right, that's going to be interesting. But, of course, for Tyler Shough, he had a great game. I understand the interception was a big miscommunication. It looked bad. But, guys, he has that dog in him. That's what I say. That's what I'll say. Again, the 34-yard touchdown to take the lead there, and as well as, again, the broken tackle rushing touchdown. He was all over the place in this game. It was awesome to see. Devin Neal, despite getting absolutely stuffed on some third downs, was a very tough runner. He looked a lot more fresh than whatever we've seen out of Alvin Kamara this season. Shough was good with ball placement. Wide receivers look open, more open than they were. Again, not taking any credit away from these receivers. But Chris Olave and Devon Bailey weren't exactly, again, wide open for most of this game. So the fact he was able to put the balls out there, no Diddy, it was awesome. Love variants of heavy duo straight up with run formations. Again, those are the 3 run formations I saw them use, which again is a lot different than what I'm used to seeing out of them because they usually just run standard on a lot of plays. Olave Blanket didn't find many holes in the zone, which is something he's got to continue to get better at. Again, he's been better with it this season, but not in this game, I guess. Good pressure, and this wasn't as bad as some people think. Yeah, with the Saints winning. The Titans won, so again, you at least have that if you're a Tank Bull enthusiast. But as you guys can see, Saints offensively, they outplayed the Bucks in this game, not, again, in terms of yardage, but... They wanted this more. They were more efficient when it really counted, and hey, they got the W. For the Bucks, though, this is obviously a very disappointing performance. But like, let's be honest, guys. Last week they didn't really play that well against the Cardinals. This team hasn't really been good on offense since week 6, and they don't really have any sort of identity on the defensive side of the ball outside of maybe Jamel Dean locking guys up once in a while. And when that doesn't happen with the injuries they have, it's really hard to again see this defense being able to again kind of like put some load on when this offense isn't going to be doing a lot, which they obviously didn't do in this game. For them, though, Abuka had a rough one. Didn't get any help on third down. Team went 3 of 13. The reason I say that is because there were a lot of plays where they basically said, get the hell open, and he didn't. Want to know why? Because he got bracketed, pushed off the line, and he was had to adjust his routes instantaneously, and he is not the guy to do that at a super high speed like a guy like JSN does every single week. So, kind of what you saw in there. Baker had trouble with rhythm. Passes were out of sync. You might be like, yeah, that sounds like the same thing. Well, again, the thing about rhythm with him is, again, when he gets kind of like repeated reps that are good, and kind of like what he feels like there, that's when he again can be in sync. He always gets out of sync when he's not in those rhythms. They ran the ball well, just nothing super explosive. Yeah, again, I understand Bucky had a 32-yard run, but it really wasn't, again, that. It wasn't an explosive running game, this one, which I think is something they could definitely adjust to do. Also, they haven't won back-to-back games since that 5-1 start. Godwin didn't run anything up the seam, takes out half of his route tree. Yeah, he literally, it was like this. And like a little bit of this in his route tree, if you think about it, because it was nothing deep. It wasn't testing anybody, but at the same time, he still had a very solid game. He got open and made his plays. Braswell, best game of his season. In this one, he won pretty consistently. Very good burst from him. I was surprised by the way he played. They've got to get more plays from safeties. They're the ones who are gonna elevate this defense of the offense doesn't do anything. Honestly, that's where I see things are at there. But very disappointing loss for the Bucks. They have to rebound next week if they want to be in a position to win this division, which, again, it really doesn't matter because, the season's over. I don't know. I don't think about that. But we'll see what happens. You can...
Ward fakes, looking to throw, back and open. Into the end zone for a touchdown. Ward, short drop, and it's intercepted. Devin Bush, he just made the tackle. He just picked it off. And there goes Tony Pollard. And Pollard up across. In the house for a touchdown, Titans. Will dump it off to Judkins, who's got blockers in Judkins. And Judkins down the sideline with blazing speed. Oh, just short of the... Sanders to throw, close for the end zone. Catch made, diving. David Njoku. Well protected. And there's Jerry Jeudy. And he's off. And into the end zone. Touchdown, Cleveland. In trouble here. He gets away. And fires. Open. He was for a moment at the 30, but carries. Make it 17. Straight up the gut. Pollard to the end zone. Touchdown, Titans. Dylan Sampson has it, moves upfield. Ball comes out, and the Titans have it. 3rd and goal for Ward. Fires, caught, touchdown Titans. It's blocked. Picked up, the Titans have it away. Sanders will keep. And to the end zone. Shedeur Sanders runs his way in for 6. Sanders fires for the end zone. Harold Fannin.
In the battle of the presumed top 2 quarterbacks in this past year's draft, the Titans were able to knock off the Browns and tank ball of all tank balls as Cam Ward didn't screw this game up. But I will say Shedeur Sanders lit up this Browns Titans defense like about as bad as it can for a rookie quarterback there. Titans, though, moved to 2-11. They snapped their 7-game losing streak. They, next week, will have the choice of either getting destroyed by the Niners or just not even showing up, so we'll see. Browns, though, moved to 3-10. They will be heading to Chicago for next week for what should be a very fun game. For the Titans, though, Cam Ward, I honestly don't think really had that great of a game. He at least threw more touchdowns than interceptions, though. And honestly, they scored points. This is the first time they scored over 24 points this season. The game they did score 24 points was just 2 weeks ago against the Seahawks, a team that was up 30-10 against them in the 4th quarter. So kind of can get some ideas with that. Cam abused the boundary in Cleveland territory. That is all he did. Again, once he got past that field, again, he didn't really have many good throws out there, but they were all outside the numbers. Yeah, of course, Tony Pollard goes off. Again, 161 yards, 2 touchdowns, a 65-yarder. When I, again, take him out of my lineup, he had the game of his life. I mean, he has not had getting close to this in his career. He was really fun to watch in this one. Yeah, they're at the number 1 pick. They're technically in the 3rd pick because the Giants and the Raiders both have tiebreakers. We'll get to the Raiders, but they obviously have the number 1 pick for now. This receiving vlog's pathetic. Yeah, this is not looking too hot right there. But it can kind of what you got expected with them. Yeah, honestly, I think if I'm not sure, I charted like half of the receivers' plays, but I think it was like, from what I heard, it was like 9 plays that they actually charted the receivers to get open. Jefferson Simmons took over 10 pressures from him. He was very, very good despite the secondary not showing up. And yeah, that's all I got for the Titans. Again, it was a 60-point total game from this one. For the Browns, Shedeur Sanders, yeah, he just chucked the ball around. He didn't really care. What happened to the run defense to this? They literally just got absolutely destroyed. I think there were a couple plays where it was just like 2 guys got taken out by 1 block, which is just insane. But again, it happened. So yeah, Fannin's a beast. Huge threat over the middle. Again, watch out for offensive rookie of the year. Yeah, he had a big time game. We'll see if he can follow this up next week. Judkins got blown up a lot. Yeah, he didn't have a good game as a runner, but Alexander's receiver, 58-yard catch, and then obviously the 60-yard touchdown from Jerry Jeudy were fun to see. Also, they have 10 or more losses in 3 out of their last 4 seasons. Schlesinger, best game of the season, except for, yeah, really, he had a couple bad run fits, but they didn't really, again, amount to anything terrible for them, so no one really cared. Garrett's 3 sacks away from breaking the record. We'll see if he can actually get it. I think he obviously will. First time over to 400 yards since Week 13 at Denver last year for the Browns. Again, that's when James threw for like 500 yards or something, and they still lost. Great play calling in the red zone, not on the 2-point conversion, though. What the hell are we guys doing? That is like the straight-up definition of tanking if you're a Browns fan there. But hey, at least Shedeur looked good, and you, again, just watch Myles Garrett at this point.
It's been an injury-plagued season for J.J. McCarthy, but he is back in the saddle for the Vikings today. Same deal with Jaden Daniels. We get this exciting young quarterback matchup coming up next. Los Angeles this year. McCarthy down the seam, and what a drive for J.J. and the Minnesota Vikings. Josh Oliver, the touchdown. Up off the wing and in motion and curls for the block, and Mason goes the other way. Misdirection, touchdown, Minnesota. And a 4-man rush, it's batted into the air, and Andrew Van Ginkel gets the pick, chased by McLaurin, and down inside the 30-yard line. The field. Mariota's picked up by Harrison Smith.
What's up?
McCarthy off the fake. And as he throws, finds Oliver for a 2-touchdown day.
The game was perfect.
Quick strike, Hawkinson stays on his feet, touchdown, and might be an early 4th quarter dagger.
Offense.
3rd and 6, Mariota is going to try to pick it up with his legs. He gets close to it. That ball came out, though, towards the end of the play.
In one of the most irrelevant games of the season, the Vikings are able to snap their 4-game losing streak and look like somewhat of a football team as their defense gets a shutout, which they, again, watched their team do last week. As the Commanders fall to 3-10, are now on an 8-game losing streak, and it is not looking good for them. Vikings next week will be playing on Sunday night for whatever reason against the Cowboys. Commanders, I mean, they still have 2 primetime games, like big-time games. Like, I think they're playing the Cowboys and maybe the Eagles on like a Saturday and like Christmas. I don't know what the hell we're doing with them. Just get them out of those windows. I understand they're not flexible, but figure it out. They fall to 3-10 next week. They will be at the hands of the Giants in what probably will be a loss if I had to guess. Who knows? For the Commanders, though, in this game, that was not good grammar, but you get the point. This secondary let 9 carve them up. That is pathetic. Also, they're really injured, and if I'm not mistaken, Antonio Hamilton Sr. hasn't been a relevant player in the NFL for 8 years. Mike Sanders still was awful. Quan Martin, at least he tackled. I don't really know, guys. I maybe watched 13 true like coverage snaps from them, like actual things that look like coverage. Other than that, it was not good. That's all I'll say. They were about as easy to throws as you could think of, like first read things. Like, what are we doing? Also, it's their first shutout loss since Week 7 of 2019. That year they went 3-13. They lost that game again. The shutout 9-0 to the Niners. That Niners team that year went to the Super Bowl, so it's a little more excusable considering they were an atrocious team. But again, this isn't shutout. Jaden. This season is well too long for this team. Jayden Daniels, he looked awful when he was on the field. I think anyone could have saw that. He probably shouldn't play another snap the rest of the season. Marcus Mariota, I think the Broncos had to have been trolling him last week, right? Because I mean, what was he doing out there? Also, it's their the 8-game losing streak, their longest since 2023. They also play at the Giants. Jesus, what are we doing, guys? This defense needs to be nuked. Yeah. They're so bad. Like it's like every other year this defense is just unbearable to watch. They were good in 2022, but like oof. They had barely hit 200 yards and they also turned over the ball 3 times in this game. That is not a recipe to win any games. And they had 12 first downs too. Jesus, I think the Rams had like 40 something, right? Am I like wrong on that? We'll get to this game later. I just want to see like the comparison. 30 first downs. Okay, so that's not as that many. That's actually insane that I said 40. But you get the point. Other than that, I'm done with this team. For the Vikings, J.J. McCarthy looked like an actual quarterback, even though he had all his first reads were open. The running game was about as efficient as it ever could have been. Jordan Addison, I guess, was out there. Again, Justin Jefferson, again, still isn't putting up numbers, but whatever. The tight ends were utilized. Also, it's their first shutout win since 2003. No, that's not true. In a while, but we'll just put it like that. Also, they're the first team since the 2003 Patriots who shut out teams in back-to-back games, which is insane for me. Again, it makes sense, though, with Belichick there. But first time that a team's been involved in back-to-back shutouts, shutouts in back-to-back weeks, and they got shut out last week. They shut out the Commanders this week. Also, pretty close to that was 2021. The Bills shut out the Dolphins and the Texans in week 2 and 4. So again, just want to mention there was something close like that, but nothing again exactly like that. Offensive line was dominant, created holes with simple man times double blocks. Again, those are things that I really think should come back to the league. Again, maybe the Vikings revitalize that. But other than that, tight ends were good. Front 7 had a blast. Van Ginkel, he was good. A lot of other stuff happened, but guys, let's be honest. This game was probably the least of importance today.
Hope to take flight back at home in Georgia. But the Seattle Seahawks, led by quarterback Sam Darnold, are soaring towards the playoffs and maybe.
Zach Charbonnet picks his way up the middle. Good run for Charbonnet into the secondary. Charbonnet tripped up. A yard, play action. Darnold on the roll, looking downfield, deflected, and it's intercepted. Picked off by Mike Hughes last week, and it's blocked. Another special teams play. Nicky Manwari. 3rd and 1. Robinson. Fumble. The ball's out and it's recovered by Devin Witherspoon of Seattle. Darnold over the middle. Jackson Smith and Jigba on the run. Breaks a tackle. He'll take it all the way in for a Seattle touchdown. 3. Cousins deflected, and Manwari off the deflection from his chest with the interception.
Will be maximized in the playoffs.
Darnold to Cooper Kupp to the end zone, and a touchdown for Cooper Kupp, his 2nd of the year.
Preparation differently than others.
Juggled and intercepted. It ends up in the hands of Devin Witherspoon. 3rd down. Pressure comes to the end zone. It's Jackson Smith and Jigba for the 2nd time today with a touchdown. Cousins, short, incomplete.
And in the first half, a game that looked somewhat similar to the result that happened last week with the Rams. The Seahawks, big time 31-point second half, are able to destroy the Falcons 37-9, hold them outside the end zone, as they now move to 10-3, helping out the Rams with the Falcons draft pick, as they will again look forward to knock off the Colts next week, and obviously looking forward to their next big time game, or the big game against the Rams on Thursday night in Week 16. Falcons will fall to 4-9. They have a short week against the Bucs, and then probably losing that one too. But for them, they have not won a home game since Week 6, and it's not looking too hot. For the Seahawks in this game, though, what do I have takeaways for them? Back-to-back wins, 10-plus win season for the first time since they did that 2018 through 2020. That was like the let Russ cook era. Not really, though, because, again, that 2018 season, they had the best rushing team in football. But as you guys can see, the Seahawks are the 5 seed still in the playoffs. Cool, but yeah, it's insane. A 10-3 teams, freaking wild card. Hey, what was it? 11-2 Vikings team as a wild card last year. 14-3. D did exactly as expected. Great play from the cornerbacks in coverage. Donald, best game since he played at the Commanders back in Week 10 on Week 9 in that first half. There, he had a big time game. He was really good. The interception wasn't great, but whatever. Yeah, he does need to continue to play this well again, in terms of consistency. Again, next week against the Colts, they are gonna he's gonna show up on Thursday night against the Rams in Week 16. Nick Warrior was strong. I really liked what I saw from him. Also, they didn't dominate up front. I think that's one thing that should be mentioned. It wasn't like they took over or anything, which I think is fair to say. JSN bounced back though. Cooper Kupp scored. Rashid Shaheed out of the play of the day as well on the kick return. Also for the Falcons. Kirko was, he was not good. I'll just say that. Bijan definitely frustrated in this one with his performance. Kyle Pitts, I'm not frustrated. I think he is, from what I saw. Kyle Pitts is having his best season since his rookie year. He's still not scoring touchdowns, though. How many does he have this year? One! He has 1 touchdown this year. Jesus. Yeah, he's got to score 4. He's got to score 5 because he's had at least 1 more every single season. Maybe we'll see a 3-touchdown game out of him or something. Probably not. But other than that, guys, I don't even care. This defense, they didn't show up. The safeties were hesitant. It was not fun to watch them. And you know what? I'll watch a little bit more film on them before Thursday, or Wednesday. But yeah, 0-4 in the red zone. 1 of 13 on third down will again do you in for a game where you won't get in the end.
30 and snowy and perfect for football in Orchard Park, as Burrow and the Bengals come to town to take on Josh Allen and the Bills.
On the 14th play of the drive, it's Brown trying to find daylight. Burrow's ahead, still goes, and finds the end zone. What a statement of a drive. 2nd and 3. Burrow lofting end zone. Higgins, did he get his feet in? He did. Touchdown Bengals. Something happened. He scrambles. Nobody open. Backs up, heaves, end zone. He's running through there for a touchdown to Shakir. Burrow looking end zone. First read taken away. Throwing to the pylon. A diving catch. Inside the 1 for Chase. 4th down and 3. Bengals show blitz. And then back off and rush just 5. Still get there. And it's incomplete. 2nd and goal, back to the air. Allen to the end zone. Kincaid, touchdown Bills. Bills looking for their first lead of the day. James Cook reaches again. He lost it. And Cincinnati's got it. Burrow throws back that way. Touchdown. Gesicki came loose. There's no picks. He's pressured. He's got a ton of room. There goes Josh Allen through the snow into the end zone. Touchdown Bills. Shippy. Burrow has it hit the line and picked again. Lightning strikes twice for Buffalo. He looks to throw. He pumps. He throws. He's got a touchdown. He's got Jackson Hawes. Burrow for Gesicki. Perfect strike and a one-handed catch. Scores. Into the blitz. Wants T. Higgins. He's got him. Higgins fights through contact for the touchdown. They will throw. Allen dances and runs, and Josh Allen looking for the knockout blow. High steps his way to it. Please, no.
And an absolute classic, as we see every time when these two teams played outside of, I'm not going to say that. But anyway, the Bills, They come back scoring 21 unanswered after the Bengals scored a lot of points. We're up 28, maintained a 28-18 lead there to knock the Bengals off 39-34 in a big time game for them. They moved to 9-4, can prevent the again. We already know the Chiefs aren't winning their division, but they can prevent the Patriots from winning the division for the first time since 2019. Another week next week with this win, as they won back-to-back big time games. Bengals fell to 4-9. They're definitely not making the playoffs now. Still a 1% chance technically though, so who really knows? But obviously next week against the Ravens will be an interesting one to watch, as they have clinched their first losing season since 2020 and are going to be going probably on their third straight season without making the playoffs under Joe Burrow, which is ridiculous. But the notion that this defense didn't play well is particularly fair, but at the same time, I think that Joe Burrow, the two major mistakes he made were what held this team back, because in that second half, that Bengals defense was very opportunistic. Obviously, the fumble and the fact they picked that up was huge, even though they gave a lot of explosives and they could not stop Josh Allen on the ground. They did their thing up to that point. I understand it kind of fell apart at the end there, but again, those two turnovers again just inexcusable for Joe Burrow. Again, the shot put pick six or the other thing. Again, I'm not gonna get the fact that again they've scored 33 or more points in 7 games the past 2 years, and they've lost 7 games where they scored 33 or more, is obviously horrible on the defensive side of the ball. But at the same time, in a game like this, again, you can't make those crucial mistakes if you're Joe Burrow. Again, you're the guy. Those just can't happen. They didn't run the ball. Again, it was optional for them in this game. It's also Joe Burrow's first loss since he lost to the Steelers in a game where they guess how many points he scored, 38, and still lost. He did throw a pick six in that game too, though. Yeah, what the heck is yeah, the Trae Young shot put thing with that on the pick six. Yeah, who runs the ball in the snow for the there? T. Higgins was good. Mike Gesicki showed up. Jamar Chase couldn't really run any routes. Also, the rookie cornerbacks, yeah, just didn't care about Josh. Yeah, they basically just did whatever they wanted in this game. It was really fun to watch that. But we'll see how, again, those guys get burned next week by Lamar. If they do, I don't know. He's been pretty trash. I love the blocking. Yeah, this is their best performance in years. Really, honestly, guys. I think the Bengals offense line did a really good job that a lot of people will not be giving them any credit for. For the Bills. Oh, yeah, they had a crap ton of yards. I think it was like 300 and 416 yards. Yeah, Josh Allen, obviously, 4 total touchdowns. A 40-yard rushing touchdown highlighted it. He's had 2 really long rushing touchdowns the past couple years. Again, this one, and then obviously the one he had back against Pittsburgh in that wild card game. On that, though, yeah, this game against New England's going to be huge next week. Knox was the best player on the field. Yeah, he made a lot of plays in this game, guys. Whether it was even blocking, he was out there doing his thing. Benford touchdown for the second straight week. Yeah, that's cool. You know, a wide receiver to step up if they're going to win games. Yeah, they don't really have anyone doing much. Again, dart to Khalil Shakir on that touchdown, but he hasn't really been good at all this season. Yeah, they're going to need someone for the playoffs. Great approach with the turnover margin in mind. I really like their, kind of like game plan going into things. Great approach. I know I already talked about that. Yeah, Cook fumbles. I don't think they're that big of a deal. It was in the snow. A lot of people are like, oh, it was terrible fumbles. We'll see about that. Yeah, this was Jameis weather too. Other than that, though, yeah, they do the Patriots to lose like 3 games to like even get the play. They're not gonna win the division. Let's be honest, guys. But who really knows? If Drake May decides to suck, which is probably gonna happen next week, you never really know what's gonna happen with this AFC East.
These two have tangled now for 18 years. It's an all-time record in the NFL. Coach Tomlin, Coach Harbaugh. Lamar going deep. He's got Flowers open, and he makes the catch. And he's going deep. They have not had a deep ball in a month. And Met makes the catch. They did not have a pass 20 yards downfield in the air complete the entire month of November. You can block. Warren, the running back. Warren, to fake it to him. Rodgers still has it. He's going to take off running for the touchdown. Aaron Rodgers. Here's Gainwell. There's open room, and he's in for the touchdown.
Like face guarding.
3rd and goal. Jackson taking up. There he is. Finally rushes one home. 15 seconds remaining in the half. Ooh, that kick got away from him. No good. Kick sailed out of bounds. Wanted Trenton to go long. Rodgers buying time. Now planning and throwing and finding Metcalf at the 30. 3rd and 1 and the big one. Mitchell makes a nice cut to pick up the first, and he's off and running. Mitchell. Oh, he got chased down. Jackson from the gun. Taken off. Nope, now throws. He's got him. It's likely for the touchdown. Dump it off. Got it. Got the first down with Warren. Warren gonna go untouched.
Roll out to the left.
They go to Henry. Walker's in front. And Derek's got the first down at the 19-yard line.
And what you know, in front of the whole country, the Steelers showed up and knocked off the Ravens to stake their claim atop the AFC North. And now a full game ahead of the Ravens with a big-time matchup in Week 18, probably sealing the division for them. But again, we look at the fact that the Bengals are 3 games back. They have a game in hand against the Steelers. Against the Bengals, they are in a very, very good spot. Next week will not be easy. They will be hosting the Dolphins and will be, again, a pretty interesting game. I think it will definitely be messy, but we'll see. Just like this game was. Bengals, Ravens, though, their disappointing season continues. Again, just like the Chiefs, they are 6-7. And they will hopefully lose the Bengals next week because that's what they deserve to happen to them. All right, for Aaron Rodgers, he was legitimately really freaking good in this game. He made a lot of explosive plays happen just because he's Aaron Rodgers, and he really didn't make any mistakes in this one outside of the one play where he almost got the ball stolen from him because he's a broken hand. Anyway, yes, he was awesome in this game. I think that's the biggest takeaway I have for this offense. Other than the fact they can't run the ball, and DK Metcalf is the only guy that can make plays in the receiving game. Obviously, Jalen Warren 38-yard untouched touchdown was cool. Calvin Austin made a big play, but again, DK Metcalf is obviously their only receiving option. They can't run the ball. I do like the protection though. They did do a good job there. Again, I really think it was more of a reflection on that Ravens front seven than the Steelers offensive line, but still, they did a good job. First win at Baltimore since COVID. That year they obviously started out 11-0. That was I think when they were 6-0 and the Ravens were 5-1. Whole front seven comes to play. Yeah, they were really good. Again, when you pay these guys, you expect them to play like this every week. So the fact they did this week, I mean, again, it's better than nothing. I don't know that. Yeah, James Pierre, where is he? I didn't know he's been on this team since 2020. I really had no idea. He's an elder statesman on this team. Echols and Bennett, again, very, very different positions, but I just want to note those guys because they, again, very, very competent play from them. Also, it's their first road win. This is insane to say, but since week 3 at the Patriots, there's probably one mix in there that I forgot about. But that's what I have there. Offensive line can't hold up in scat. Also, it's I think that's a little bit of a more cruel observation, but it's true. They did not do well in scat, where basically it's just 5 down linemen in this one. Also, Aaron Rodgers completed his first deep ball, or the Steelers in general, since October 26th. It's been a minute since they've been able to do that. For the Ravens, this team is cooked. Lamar continues to regress. If it wasn't for Keaton Mitchell, this running game would have been a lot worse. I mean, the reason I say that is because, again, he had a 55-yard run. It doesn't look good here anyway. But, yeah, Lamar didn't get the ball out of his hands. I like the fact he ran for a touchdown, though, that he needs to be doing more of that. Again, deficiencies in the red zone, though, going 2 of 4, which for a lot of people doesn't seem bad, but in their situation, they need to get down. The lack of urgency, again, this team just is not looking like a true team right now. Zay Flowers, again, he had a big-time game. He is one of the better route runners I've seen in a while. He had a big-time performance in that regard. Other than that, though, the biggest thing I had on them was John Harbaugh needs to look at himself in the mirror. Yeah, this team is done. Yeah, if they don't go crazy next week against the Bengals, again, that's on offense. In secondary, specifically Kyle Hamilton needs to play the game of his life. Again, Kyle Hamilton's one of the best safeties in football. He has not been that guy this season. That's going to have to change this week. Next week. He's going to have one of the better games we've ever seen out of him. For the stats, though, as you guys can see, 2 of 6 in the red zone for the Ravens. That's all you really need to know. I mean, yeah, Lamar, the second in the game kind of tells you everything, too. I mean, it was not a very good performance by any means.
Week 14 of the NFL rolls on from Las Vegas. Today, a classic rivalry is renewed. Nix, he's going to run it this time at the 5. Nix is in! Touchdown! And what an opening drive for
time and creating a few spaces in the run game.
Gino taking a shot for the end zone. Bowers has it! Touchdown! At the 48. Harvey up the middle. Harvey takes it in. Touchdown. Smith throwing off his back foot wide open. It's a first down. And that 4th and goal. Pickett on the move, throwing end zone too high and incomplete. Pickett, end zone, touchdown, Cedric Jackson.
And a gambling addict's dream, the Raiders cover as the Broncos win their 10th straight consecutive game. Now, again, stake their claim atop the AFC. If they continue to win games, this will be where they are. And if I'm not mistaken, they do have the tiebreaker with the Patriots, considering they swept the Broncos. And if you don't remember, this isn't... They swept the Broncos. They swept the Raiders. The Patriots lost the Raiders in Week 1, so that's why the Broncos had the tiebreaker. Just wanted to mention that. They'll probably have for the rest of the year. Well, these teams are obviously well on their way to the playoffs. For the Broncos, though, they next week will be having to host the Packers in probably their biggest game of the season up to this point. Again, trying to move towards that, again, conference title. They will probably take a game lead if they do, in fact, win that, where I think things are going to play out. Raiders have the #1 pick right now. Great for them. They have a very good chance to lose next week against the Eagles. So continue doing your thing. For the Broncos, though, I have actually a decent amount of takeaways from them. I'm not going to really talk about any of them. Realistically, guys, Bo Nix didn't make many mistakes. He was really conservative underneath. RJ Harvey was fine. Receiving wise, I don't really care. There's not really much I have to talk about. I mean, some of the routes were gross, but that's usual. But RJ Harvey was probably the biggest thing there. And the offensive line also was very good at again, building the second level, which is something they didn't really do a lot the past couple of weeks. Defensively, big time bounce back game for them. Again, I understand the Raiders offense is poverty, but you get the point. Talanoa Hufanga was much more consistent. Jahadi Barron had his best game of his career, rookie season up to this point. Nick Benito had a lot of great pressure, and it wasn't really him just consistently winning, like, straight up, like, off his bend. More of, again, he had a really good job, again, getting the tackles off balance. Malcolm Roach also had a sack. Meanwhile, for the Raiders, who we'll talk about here, what do we have on them? Star Pickett, something different. Yeah, you've lost 7 straight games. I mean, what can really go wrong? Your offense, what are they averaging? 220 yards a game right now. Genty, again, continues to struggle. Jack Beck was good on outbreakers in the second half. Get him the ball because he might be your best receiver right now. Obviously, Brock Bowers got completely locked up. But still, he tried to change how linebackers were blitzed, made Sean Payton adjust on third down. That is something that this defense did well in this game. They, again, changed up their blitz and made it a little bit more diverse, which I think was pretty cool. Safeties were forced to compromise in zone due to having to step up on stop the run. Yeah, Isaiah Palomalo wasn't as, again, dynamic in coverage. Eric Stokes was relied on a lot more. He did a good job. Couldn't sustain drives, explosives, came in garbage time with no good third down and it calls in the first half. Yeah, I don't really know what they're trying to do with that. But anyway, that's all I have for you guys in this game. Raiders continue to lose their games as they are, again, being good boys like that. 7th straight loss. Broncos continue their win streak. And I think that's their longest since 2012, actually.
Glendale, Arizona, Matthew Stafford and the Los Angeles Rams getting set to take on Jacoby Brissett and the Arizona Cardinals. Brissett on second down, fires, caught, touchdown! Here's Corum. He's been a workhorse on this drive. He takes it into the end zone for a Rams touchdown. Remain with the 3 tight ends, 13 personnel as Kyron Williams takes it in for a Rams touchdown. Stafford sets, throws, caught into the end zone. Nacua, touchdown. Stafford, end zone, caught, touchdown, Parkinson. 14-12 final score. Rams and Cardinals. And this pass is picked off. We mentioned earlier how well Nate Landman had. Career pick was here in 2023. And now Stafford fires downfield. Nacua, touchdown. On first down, it's Corum. Blake Corum inside the 30. And he is going to take this all the way 48 yards. Roy Lyons. Brissett to the end zone. It is caught. Touchdown.
All right, I'm trying to keep this pretty short and sweet as the Rams take care of business with a bounce back win over the Cardinals 45-17 to get a much needed divisional win. They obviously next week will be hosting the Lions in a game that I expect to see a lot of points go up. Cardinals, though, fall to 3-10. They've now lost 10 out of their last 11 games. There we go. And it has been a rough season for the people of the desert, as next week they will be losing once again, probably, as they play the Texans in Houston. No, they're not going to get shut out. But for this game, again, it was 10-10 at one point. Rams scored 5 consecutive touchdowns to go up 45 to... No, it wasn't 5. No, shoot, I think it was. Crap. Yeah, it was that bad. Or maybe what? No, it was 38-10, 38-17. You get the point. For the Rams in this game, it's also their best 15 game record under Sean McVay is 11-3. They did that in 2018. They have a chance to do that next week against Detroit. They obviously have a monster game in Seattle on a short week after that. Do not overlook that Detroit game, though. That is probably be one of their tougher games the entire season. Also, it's the Rams' most rushing yards at 249, nearly 250 since they put up 270 versus Denver back in 2018. Also, they only had 1 third down in the first half. They only attempted 8 overall, so pretty insane there. Kello is still getting back into it. That's the Rams' starting best cornerback. He is again off the clavicle injury. He's still figuring things out. Again, honestly, I'm waiting for the playoffs on him. And also, Emmanuel Forbes didn't suck. He wasn't good, but I mean, a lot better than last week. Nate Landon bounced back, but this defensive line has to keep what do I say? Gap integrity or Gibbs and Montgomery. Yeah, that's the thing for next week. But those guys are going to torch us if we don't figure things out. Last 2 Rams long runs were Corum, the 48-yard touchdown here, and also his touch, the 58-yarder from Kyron. We had his best career game here in 2023. That was obviously his breakout year too. Kyron getting this one, yeah, I don't really like it. They got to figure out how to get these guys in the backfield in the same drive. Obviously, Blake Corum has had a very nice season up to this point, but Kyron Williams obviously is the Rams' best running back. Again, I don't want to hear about that. Puka though, first 2 touchdown game, he's obviously the best receiver in football. Devontae didn't really get used a ton, but he was pretty good as again a decoy at the end of the day there. Moving over to Glendale. Yeah, oof. This was tough. Brisket still through, got his yardage. Again, this is the stupid thing about quarterback rating. 80.8 for a game like this. Again, in terms of how he played is a little bit ridiculous. He rarely, again, did much of anything in terms of affecting this as a passer. They didn't run the ball as they do every week. Michael Wilson continues to put up insane numbers for, again, garbage time stats here. That's what they are. Trey McBride had a decent game, though. Again, at least on the first drive. Defensively, this is just, again, they look completely checked out there. Will Johnson had his worst game of his rookie season. Jalen Thompson, Budda Baker, they just got to trade these guys. This team, they need to reset, guys. This team has no spark. This is just a straight-up pushover right now. What are we doing? Rams at 530 yards. Are you kidding me? 8 yards per play. Again, no NFL team should have this put on them unless, I don't know, you're Denver versus the Dolphins in 2023 and giving up 70. This is a ridiculous, stat line here. I understand the Rams are a good team, but, even as a Rams fan, this shouldn't be happening. What are we doing, Cardinals?
In Green Bay, Wisconsin for a monster game in the NFC North. The Chicago Bears and the Green Bay Packers, and it is cold the way we want it to be.
Makes the play in a 3rd and long for Love. Stands in, zips, and it's intercepted. Another turnover. C.J. Gardner-Johnson has it. Looking for blocks. What's coming? Love has time. Floats one. Watson. Touchdown, Packers. 4th and 1. It's a fake. Williams going to race to it. There's the speed from Caleb Williams. Missed the last 3 games. A speedy rookie. Love. Going deep. Down the field. Has a man. It's caught. Touchdown. Bo Melton and the Pack. Play fake. Williams. Looking. Throwing. It is caught. Touchdown. Anungai up the gut. And he is in. What a run. But a play fake. Quick throw.
It truly has been a second home for me. We've had a lot of big wins here over the years, a lot of great moments.
And he's going to win it. Touchdown, Green Bay. Theo Bennett, a lineman in motion. He gets cut. Williams floats it the other way. It's caught for a touchdown. Colston Loveland. 3rd and 1, Green Bay. Get to the outside. Jacobs. Can he get there? Sweat denies it. He breaks through. Josh Jacobs taken down by the 5. 3rd and goal. It is Jacobs plowing up the middle. Josh Jacobs is in. Touchdown, Packers.
And in the monster game for the NFC North lead, we did see the Bears lose in a tough one. They played well. They stayed in it after going down 14-3 in that first half. But when you lose and you're in the NFC right now, you're going to find yourself a game out of being out of the playoffs. It's insane to say, but the Bears went from the number 1 overall seed, leading the NFC North. Again, the Rams took over the NFC, the number 1 seed, but again, they're tied with Seattle. And again, presumably, if the Rams beat the Lions next week, which again is going to be very tough, because that Lions team, they're desperate right now. They're going to need to. They got Seattle. So again, this number 1 seed. No one knows who it's going to be. Packers though stake their claim as the 2 seed at the moment. Again, they have to head over the Bears and again the Lions too. But for the Bears. The Lions have already beaten them. So again, if that week 18, not week 18 game, whenever they play the Lions next week 18. That game, if I had to guess, will decide the playoff fates of both those teams. It's insane because the Bears are literally the ones he did like 30 hours ago. That's insane. But yeah, that's what happens in the NFC right now when you have like, what is it, 6 or 7 teams with 8 or more wins. It'll soon be 9. I hope the Eagles, maybe they do have them winning. I don't really know. Packers don't move to 9-3-1. They are 4-0 in the division, if I'm not mistaken. They're looking really good. Lambeau hasn't really been a strong suit for them this year, but again, the crowd definitely came in this one. No Diddy. Caleb Williams, the interception was unfortunate. Overall, though, he kind of struggled against pressure, but when he needed to get outside the pocket and make a play, he obviously did. He's one of the most talented quarterbacks in football. Montez Sweat is the only guy who consistently or can reliably win up front. Again, we all talk about this dynamic Chicago defense, how they're able to force takeaways. This game, they weren't able to do that a ton. Again, obviously the horrible Jordan Love pick on the first drive, but Montez Sweat's the only guy that really scares me at all in this defense. And again, the secondary obviously has some playmakers, but again, the second level, again, TJ Edwards, you can't have this guy be trying to, again, kind of manufacture pressure when he is your most dependable linebacker. So again, that's what I have there. Tight ends were great and inline blocking good. Routes over the middle. Also, Kevin Byard can't be isolated over the top. Again, as you saw on that touchdown, he's a little bit of an elder statesman for that. Honestly, guys, I don't have really that much to talk about the Bears because, again, this performance proved they're obviously a legit team. Again, going to Lambeau and nearly winning is pretty good. Obviously, they're going to need to actually win. They want to make the playoffs here. But you get the point. They should have ran the ball more. I think anyone could have said that. But at the same time, the game tempo, really, I don't think allowed it. At the same time, though, they should have ran the ball more. Packers, though, will be heading to Denver next week. Bears have a very good shot to bounce back against the Browns. For Jordan Love, 7 touchdowns over the last 2 games. Again, huge bounce back this season. Again, not this season. This game after the first pick on the first drive, something like that. Josh Jacobs is a monster. That was an insane run there to pick up that first down and a lot more there. Watson is his offensive X factor. If they get in the playoffs, which they probably will, he obviously will be the guy with that. Bowman obviously with the bomb touchdown. Safety's had an up-and-down game. You need to find a way to switch on third down. The reason I say switch is because a guy like Xavier McKinney should not be a guy that is playing in the box. A guy like Evan Williams can be down there, and obviously vice versa there in those passing situations. 4-game winning streak. That's pretty good. Money on third down. Explosives led the way, obviously, for this offense. We've seen this type of performance from them this season in terms of getting a complete win. But it hasn't really been consistent. That's something I'm going to be looking for. But also, if it finally happens next week, that would definitely be the game in Denver. But I guess you guys can see the Packers are holding on there. Again, it's a 2-game difference between these 3 teams in the division. Who knows? Maybe the Vikings figure it out. I'm joking. They can't even win the division anymore.
Temperature in the 20s at GEHA Field in Arrowhead, home with a 4-time Super Bowl champion, Kansas City Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes, 6-6, facing a near must-win against C.J. Stroud in the 7-5 Houston Texans on NBC's Sunday Night Football. Good take by Stroud, looking for something deep, and downfield he goes. Nico Collins goes up to get it. The tight end in there. 4th and 1, he'll go to the right and has the first down. And he gets away from Tranquil to Stroud, flips it on the run. Nico Collins has it, taking off, getting a block. Collins inside the 20. And 3rd and goal. Chiefs bringing 5. Stroud, Marks walks it in. Touchdown Houston. With great effort. 2nd and 9. Mahomes scanning, deflected in the air. Intercepted Jalen Petrie. Operation clean and the kick. Just 58 passing yards in the first half. Looking for space to load up. Send it downfield towards Hollywood Brown. Long one for the first down. 2 for the touchdown. Hunt inside. Pushing through to the goal line. In for the Kansas City touchdown. 3rd and 6. Quarterback. Mahomes downfield for Hollywood Brown. Intercepted underneath Kamari Lassiter. The late subs. 4th and 1. And they're going to go to 10-10 game. Anderson almost got there. Pass is incomplete.
In goal line offense.
He's got it here. Dario Ogunbowale to the goal line. He's in for the touchdown. 4. Mahomes stepping up, throwing middle right, snapped it. 2nd and 10. Texans bring 4. Mahomes getting it out. Kelsey getting on. And Alshire has the interception.
And closing out Sunday, we saw the Texans knock off the Chiefs. The Chiefs are already out of contention for their division title, which they have been able to hold the recognition for every year since 2015. This will probably be the end of their season if I had to guess. In all likelihood, again, this team has a 15% chance to make the playoffs. But with the Chargers, and especially the Colts definitely falling, you never really know. So, they're not making the playoffs, obviously, but, no, they're not making it. This kind of proved it. Same time, though, this Texans defense, again, they travel every week. They're the best defense in football. They did what they were expected to do in this game. They're now 8-5. They won 5 straight games. It's their longest winning streak since 2018. That year, they obviously started out 0-3 and decided to win 9 straight games to win their first, win the AFC South. For the Texans, though, in this game, this was a very impressive win. In that regard, again, offensively, C.J. Stroud in that second half was about as inefficient as it gets. But again, he didn't, lose them the game. Running game, again, Woody Marks is the guy they're trying to get going. He just didn't get going. Jared Goodell, all he got in the end zone, though, it was a little concerning with Nick Chubb only getting 1 carry. I'm concerned if he's injured. I don't really know. He should be getting more than 1 carry, though. That's all I'll say there. Nico Collins, again, he needed to be physical in this game. That's what the Chiefs cornerbacks were really trying to force on him. And you know what he did? He was physical, and look what happened. Also, they have Glendale next week. Not Glendale. They're not going to Glendale. They're taking on the Cardinals at home next week. Chiefs, they will be playing the Chargers next weekend. I think honestly is an elimination game for them. But on the other side here, looking at what we have for the rest of this defense, I think they're at least top 3 secondary in football. The reason I only see top 3 is because there are definitely some games that have lapses. Edges 8 up. Got 3 or more yards at the line at will without even really having to do anything. Also, they went 8 of 18 on 3rd down. Not a crazy percentage, but definitely something that can win you games. For the Chiefs, yeah, it's insane they're already eliminated from the division. This is a thing I wouldn't expect. Yeah, everyone's every year oh, the Chiefs, is this the year they finally fall off? It looks like this is the year. That 4th down play shows where they're at. Yeah, again, we're Mahomes at the 4th and 1 play. Again, this team's done. It looks like it. Mahomes, again, probably the worst game we've seen out of him in a pretty long time. He's never had no touchdowns and 3 picks in a game as well. So, again, in that sense, it is the worst game. With that, though, they're under 500 through 13 games for the first time since 2012. They were not a good team that year. That was the first. That was last year without Andy Reid. Or no, the year before Andy Reid pulled up. Struggled on 3rd down. That is the reason they lost. They went 4 of 14. The receivers didn't get open and also dropped a lot of passes. Kelsey had 2 drops to 1 catch. That is definitely the worst in his career. Karlaftis was good with his bull rush. Defense kept him in the game. I think that is one thing to take away from this game. This defense isn't bad. They did honestly keep the Chiefs' offense in the games the past couple weeks. Second home loss this season. It's also their first primetime loss since that Monday nighter back in 2023 when they lost the Eagles in that Super Bowl rematch. Chris Jones was fantastic. Pressure rate was off the charts in this game. He did a great job for them. Again, honestly, guys, if you're a Chiefs fan, the biggest thing you can take away is that your defense is really freaking good. Again, when they need to be. But at the same time, Texans defense is just way better. That's what we saw in this game. Chiefs, they're basically done. Texans, at the moment, are the 17th, but they have a very good chance. They have a chance to win this division if they're able to stay hot the rest of the season. Again, next week is definitely a very good opportunity for them. You look at the rest of their schedule. They have the Colts, Chargers, and Raiders. These are, again, very good chance. Not very good chance. Definitely a chance they could win out, though. That's all I have for you guys there, though. And I hope you guys enjoyed this Sunday. Get ready for that Monday nighter, though. And again, or not get ready. Hope the Monday Nighters going well, and I'll see y'all for the recap of that tomorrow, and obviously power rankings on Wednesday. But again, we saw a lot of unfortunate truths this Sunday.
Simpson looking that direction, now back across the middle, high throw, intercepted, picked off. Dalen Everett for the Dogs with a step.